Welcome back, college baseball fans. We got another episode of the College Baseball Show live Saturday mornings here. I got two awesome co-hosts. My name is Mark Garland, and I got Jared Perkins. How we doing today, Jared?
Oh, hanging in there, ready to retire from staff pick'em. But outside of that, I'm doing well.
Just ready to stop making picks throughout the season. Just done with it.
Did 10 this week, thinking that I would have a better shot, but I don't think that's going to happen. So
I'm doing good again. So, thank you for picking the right games for me and letting me have this opportunity to be successful. And speaking of successful, we got our awesome guy from the ACC, Monty Taylor. How we doing, buddy? Long time no see.
Yeah, things are great. I'm in Midtown Atlanta right now, right across from the Coca-Cola company. It's great. The weather's been unbelievable down here, which they probably have a few weeks before it starts to get unbearable down here. But right now it is beautiful.
Right now it's perfect, and you got the sick BC bird ball hat. I need to
Oh,
find one for my podcast wall.
It is the Peter Frates ALS game today at Fenway for Boston College.
Awesome.
So that's why I decided to throw that one on.
Perfect to throw that on. Perfect thing for that. The ALS game is a big deal, and we very much support.
This one even has the
special game. Has the special logo.
That's sweet.
Love it. Love it. Well, you know what? Let's dive right into the series that you're at, Monty. Florida State at Georgia Tech. First game there, wild finish. Mace Patel turns the 1-3-2 double play, which was just crazy. I don't even know, like the stealing of third base in that series, in that session, and then going to play at the plate. And then last night, Georgia Tech wins 8-3, so they're up. They already won the series as game 3 happens. This was a huge series, and Florida State, the offense has just not been there. And Trey Beard wasn't even bad last night, but Georgia Tech took it to him with only 2 extra base hits.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you see Georgia Tech get out-homered and still win by 5 runs?
And win the game? Yeah.
So Georgia Tech had no homers last night. Both extra base hits, by the way. Carson Curse, who is on pace for 31 regular season doubles, which would pass the Georgia Tech record of 27 set by Jay Payton all the way back in 1994. Wow. Carson Curse, I love that he's finally getting some of the recognition he's getting because he's been so good he was so good last year, but because of that lineup, got a little overlooked. The defense was unbelievable at third base. But on the Florida State side, the Florida State fans are crashing out. I had somebody tell me this is the worst lineup in D1 yesterday. And I was like, let's pump the brakes. Porter Bursama was very good yesterday.
Yeah.
As well. Like he's got some legit stuff. And what they love to do at Georgia Tech is they send this fireballer in Porter Bursama out there from the right side with really high-end stuff. And then they like to piggyback Dylan Loy, but yesterday they went to Caden Gaudette. But Dylan Loy comes into the end of the game, and he's the opposite of Porter Bursama, which is why they kind of do that. He's a crafty lefty who just pounds the strike zone, and it's hard to adjust there. The strikeout stuff at Florida State is a concern, but here's the thing I'm feeling like we saw John Stutzer yesterday, 2 home runs. That kid's going to be special. Now, he has made some base running errors. A lot of people, if you guys weren't paying close attention to that final play on Thursday night, the reason Chase Williams came home isn't because Chase Williams it's because John Stutzer is already at third base when Williams goes to turn back. So that's kind of on Stutzer, but Stutzer's going to be special. Kelvin Paulino's going to be special. You can get stuff out of Will Bavaro at third base. Those 3 guys, if they're hitting like sophomores by the end of the year, and you get Cal Fisher and Hunter Carnes going like they've had in the last week or so, the lineup's not terrible. I mean, you're still obviously missing that centerpiece of Miles Bailey, that dangerous, scary piece in the lineup that gives you a fear factor. But with the pitching staff they have, they can make some noise. Now, maybe they're not a top 5 team. They're certainly a top 25 team. But yeah, just interesting there. Another side note, Link Jarrett for the second night in a row doesn't meet with the media, which not a great look for Link because people did travel up from Tallahassee to cover the team. And I get the frustration there, but if everyone wants it to be like college football, wants it to be covered like college football until they lose, and then all of a sudden, they don't want to face the media. So it's just interesting there. I love Link. Link's great.
Yeah.
It seems a little out of character for him, but I get it's a frustrating series, and a lot of times you don't have to worry about it because no one travels on the road. But when you have reporters coming up from Tallahassee, I feel like there's an obligation to meet with the media at that point.
especially in a big top 5 series. Like, yes, and they've been good games. It's not like they've been blown out and playing bad baseball.
Yeah.
They've been outdueled by a team that's an Omaha caliber top 5 team. Like, this is a regional type feel, same as it is like where I'm at here in the Kansas UCF. Like, that's the kind of caliber you're getting. You're at their place. Like, you know, I don't understand like the whole frustration. I get that it's frustrating to lose, but still.
Keep in mind, last week I got to interview Sean Stifler after a loss, and it was like their 6th straight loss. They're spiraling, and he was gracious enough to meet with me, despite obviously like they didn't even have a team meeting because they were gonna do it at the hotel, and yet he was still made the time to answer a couple questions with me. And I mean, you could tell he was very, very upset about the loss, but he was still gracious in meeting with me. So it's possible to be frustrated and upset and disappointed with the result and still answer questions.
Hopefully there's some meeting today. Hopefully there's something after the game and kind of gives everybody opportunity to ask those questions for the series, because it is an important series. Georgia Tech has already won the series. Big for them to sit atop the ACC standings now, ahead of Florida State. Let's move on to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. Oklahoma loses the first one to Vanderbilt 5-10. And then last night, 13-11 win. Jared, there was 8 runs scored for Vanderbilt in the first inning with only 2 hits. Cam Johnson doesn't even get out of the first.
Yeah.
Xander comes in. He almost doesn't get out of the first. They have to have 2 pitching to almost get him out. That was a wild first inning. And then Vanderbilt doesn't do anything the rest of the game.
No, I mean, I think these 2 SEC teams still confuse me. I know we still have Oklahoma ranked, but there are times where I watch Oklahoma and it's like, if Cam Johnson's not going, like this, what is this team, right? Like he only went a third of an inning, 4 earned. I think he had 4 walks as well. It's just been a struggle for him on the mound, or he looks like lights out. I remember that Arlington game that he pitched. He had like 11 Ks or something like that over 7 innings and no runs.
Even last weekend, he was great.
Yeah. So you just don't know what you're going to get from him. And like he's going out and being your Friday night. Oh, I guess he's the Saturday guy now. Him and Mercurius switch spots. But I don't know what to make about this Vanderbilt team either. It's like they lead the nation almost in home runs, but the pitching staff hasn't looked great. Connor Fennell was fantastic the night before, but like outside of Connor Fennell, I don't know what you're getting from this Vanderbilt rotation, or just pitching staff in general. So I still am just confused on what you expect out of Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. I just don't know what to make of either team at this point.
I don't know if both of them are top 25 or neither is top 25. And I lean towards neither is a top 25 team right now. That's the way I look at it. Is I don't think either one of them are actually a top 25 team. I think that they're both battling, but I don't believe either one of these teams are actually very good at the baseball right now. It doesn't mean that they can't get there, but I don't think that they're there. How do you walk in that many runs? How do you hit that many batters? Like, that's not good baseball. And then for Vanderbilt to not pull off the win after scoring 8 runs in the first and having a lead after giving up 5 in the first, it was gross baseball. 1-1 series tied there. So we'll see what happens today in that one. It is at Vanderbilt, so I think that they do have the edge there, but it was not pretty. South Carolina visited Mizzou. They've won the first 2 of that series. Huge for Monty Lee to go on the road and get a win as the interim head coach there. Not you, Monty. Other Monty. Both. We like both Montys, by the way. But
I did the meme. I did the set. Me?
The point in the Spider-Man. Which one of us? But big for South Carolina to go on the road there and win. Tough for Mizzou, where we thought maybe if they take this series, all of a sudden they're looking at, positive turn here for Carrick Jackson. But they got to go out and figure out a way to win today. If you're a Missouri fan, you got to win 1 at home, especially in this series against the bottom 2 teams in the SEC. Texas at Texas A&M. Let's talk about this one. This was wild. 7 hits is all A&M got, but the 9 runs, double and triple from Grahovac. Texas almost comes back to tie this thing up in the 9th. Like the 2 solo home runs, like Robbins hits that bomb to dead center, and then Pack Jr. hits that home run. You're like, oh man, here it comes. Jared, it was great. It was entertaining baseball. It's what we want. I mean, this is, again, another top 15 matchup. Yeah,
it's like one team punched, the other punched right back the entire game. It was awesome to watch. And it's like the bats were on fire. And the 2 aces didn't do much. Like Shane Sado went 4 innings, 4 earned. No. River Riojas went 5 innings, 5 earned. So you're not getting a ton out of the starting pitching. And it's just like, I don't know. It was just awesome to watch this game. Like the way that Texas kind of bounced back every time they were down, the way A&M bounced back every time they were down. Then you had the entire crowd going crazy every time Schloss came out of the dugout, just getting booed. the atmosphere was like playoff atmosphere at A&M, and it was just awesome to see. That's an environment I would want to experience myself personally. I saw all the Micah stuff coming out and everything that he was doing down there, and it just looked like one of the coolest places to be in college baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. This is what we want. I mean, that's what we're seeing in Atlanta, too, with that series going on. Those Florida State fans are getting razzed by the Georgia Tech fans, and it's been fun. I mean, that's what we want to see.
It's a smaller crowd, though. I can handle the smaller crowd. Gets too much bigger than that. It's too many people for Monty. So,
speaking of a smaller crowd, but a team that's been on absolute fire, Monty, Miami, holding their own against Wake Forest. They are set up for quite a streak here if you're talking about a team. Now, Derek Williams goes out there and gets that RBI double that scores 2 studs in Cuvée and Sosa. Not a ton of offense, but my goodness, they are going. And Rob Evans, 7-1. Also, Frank Menendez is back. Where does this team go?
I still have major concerns about the bullpen. Now, Ryan Bilka coming in the 9th and 5 pitches and getting out of that and ending that game was pretty impressive because I was like, oh, here comes Miami's bullpen again. But props to Ryan Bilka for closing that out. But they're still figuring out that bullpen. Obviously, Frank Menendez could be a game changer, but he's still adjusting to coming back from that injury. The offense we know is legit. But, I picked Wake Forest in this series. I mean, this was a tough series to pick. And the reason I picked Wake Forest is I was thinking Lavonis on Friday night was going to get the W. And then all Wake Forest has to do is just win one of the other 2. Now, all of a sudden, if I was picking now, I'd have shifted, right? Because Lavonis, you thought was the sure bet there. And he didn't pitch poorly. It was just Rob Evans matched him. And that's what you want. Rob Evans has been so good at times this year. Obviously, there's been a couple of rougher starts, but in terms of a Friday night guy, he has been better than I think they anticipated. And it's been fun to watch. The starting pitching is strong there. If you get that kind of performance from Rob Evans, Lazaro Colora, and AJ Iskar, you're in good shape, but they're still working on solidifying that bullpen. Now, the nice thing is for them, they have a pretty favorable ACC schedule the rest of the way that can help them kind of gain some confidence with that bullpen as long as they, take care of business. Now, we know that the ACC, even when they're not great teams, it's not necessarily easy to beat those teams all the time because you have sometimes like, Cal, who decides to drop 12 runs on Pitt yesterday, or Stanford who decides to, or Virginia Tech, who went up to BC and decided to win that one. So you never know with the ACC and even the SEC sometimes with some of the bottom tier teams, being able to just kind of drop some wins out. But I did want to say Texas and Texas A&M with some great classic Big 12 baseball.
Classic Big 12. the Big West or Big 8.
The Big 8. That was some good Big 8 baseball.
That was some good Big 8 baseball. Like I love it. I mean,
all I was gonna say is I'm mad at you because I switched my pick from Miami to Wake Forest because of you. So,
hey, guess who did?
You could still be.
You know who stuck with Miami. You know who stuck with Miami.
You could still be right, Jared.
I could. I know.
There's still 2 more games left.
I believe in you, Monty.
You shouldn't, because it was all based on a Lavonis win last night.
and I put that down. I'm like, if you win against him, that it really sets you up for the rest of the weekend. And,
it wouldn't surprise me if somehow it goes the other way, and it's just we don't know anything that we're talking about.
Morningstar could come out today and just absolutely dominate. Like that's what could happen.
And Bagwell's very good too tomorrow for Wake Forest. So who knows?
Yeah, they have all the talent in the arm department. They could go out and shut down this lineup that's been on fire, or it could go the other way, and Miami could go for the sweep and be in a really good spot here with Stanford and Cal coming up. Maybe chances to get that bullpen going, get those arms going in the bullpen for them, getting healthy. I think getting Frank Menendez back is huge. I think if he gets healthy and at some point, you can use him in clutch situations, I think that's going to be a big thing for Miami moving forward. Talking about Florida, let's go to Florida, Georgia, and then I'll jump to the UCF Kansas series after that. Florida, we got exactly what we wanted, Jared. We got an Aiden King versus Joey Volchko matchup. And it was kind of ugly early and unearned runs for Florida. But then they win that game 8-2 in the bullpen there. But a huge start for Aiden King coming in for his first Friday start of the year. What do you see from this Florida team? I mean, that's tough to go down and win at a red hot. I mean, that lineup for Georgia has been on fire, and they were completely shut down by King. Yeah, he gave up 2 runs late in that game, but he dominated for the first 7 innings of that game.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at what Georgia did to Mississippi State going down into Starkville, like taking the entire series, sweeping Mississippi State when we had Mississippi State ranked higher than Georgia. I think we bumped up Georgia to 2 after last week, and it's just like Florida just went in there and looked absolutely dominant. Like you mentioned, Aiden King was fantastic on the mound for them. Florida is one of those teams I didn't know what to make of, and right now they're solidifying themselves as a top 25 team. We bumped them back into the top 25. They've been up and down all year long, it seems like. They depend on Liam Peterson showing like which kind of Liam Peterson's going to show up on the mound and get you that potential series win. But in the offense, again, we talked about the offense earlier on the year. They just kind of were non-existent. Well, they showed up against Georgia, and so like
no Lawson.
Yeah, no Lawson either. So I don't know. I just really like this Florida team. I think it's a lot better than we kind of give it credit for. And so, yeah, excited to kind of see what they can do.
It's
a little bit more complete.
It's classic regular season Florida, right?
Yeah.
Like,
wait till the end of the year.
They're gonna do just enough to kind of get in there, and then they're just gonna make noise in the postseason because they have the pitching staff to do so. But it's funny, but that's what you get for ranking Georgia and pushing them up a little bit ahead of Georgia Tech. No, I'm just kidding. I can't complain about the rankings because I don't participate in the top 25 rankings, so I should not complain about them when I don't vote in them.
You're not actively voting for us. Yeah, that's fair. But it was a hard decision. I mean, we looked through those pretty hard. I mean, Georgia played. I mean, when you go into a place like Mississippi State and you take 3, it's hard not to bump them up. And then last night they.
But I don't believe in punishing teams for on the other side. You know what I mean? Like, UCLA, if they're playing somebody and they sweep, but then somebody in the SEC is playing another top 5 team and sweeps, are you going to jump UCLA? Probably not. But
UCLA
on the other hand,
solidified at 1 unless they lose a series at some point.
I don't know if we're talking about that one, but my goodness, that one last night.
It's at the bottom of my list. But
sorry, I was just
30 strikeouts for UCLA.
I actually paid attention to some Rutgers UCLA last night, but.
Let's talk about the game I was at last night, which was Kansas and UCF, which is, the top of the Big 12 here. It's now tied. Kansas wins this thing in extras, 4-3, huge win there. So Solis Jr. had the go-ahead RBI late in that game, and then he gets the winning RBI, the walk-off. Zach Skinner, though, for the Australian here for UCF, he ties this thing up in the 9th with 2 outs with a huge RBI single to left center. It was a great back-and-forth game, good pitching from both sides. Like, it was a fun baseball game, and it started off really stormy and gross, and then the sun came out, and we had ourselves a baseball game. I know I did the video in front of the crowd. The student section there is wild. It was a good time. I did not anticipate there being so much fan action, and tons of UCF fans came up to that game. That's the thing that I was like surprised by. Like, that's a big trip to come to Kansas. Like, flying out.
And there's not really a lot around for you to be like, oh, I'm also doing this.
No,
like you're there
for that. Like, that's what you're there for. You are there for.
There's no. I'm going to hit this while we're out there, like so I can check it off my list. No, there's no reason to go there unless you're going to a baseball game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But there's
Lawrence,
tons
Kansas,
to do.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm here for other reasons, but I'm excited for that one. I'm going to do that today and tomorrow. But man,
Mark's there to visit. He's taking his child there to visit colleges.
I don't have a child, just to be clear. No children on my road. I'm just an awesome funkle. That's what I do.
I was going to say I'm just an awesome father. I don't have kids. That was going to be a little scary.
A father. Never a father. Not going to be a father.
I will say that the biggest thing that shocked me about that series was that I was expecting so much more offense. I did not think it was going to be a pitcher's duel. I know. What's that?
It was pitching based tonight, though.
Yeah.
I mean, 2:00 today. We're gonna. I think that we saw the best arms that they had in both teams last night. I think we see a little bit more offense today, and the wind is going to be blowing out about 15 to 20 miles an hour, is what the predictions are. So, yeah,
sounds like Jordan Lodi's legacy game.
Yeah,
he's been. I know he's been struggling lately, but
he got a huge double last night too, and scored the go-ahead run for UCF. So I was excited. I believe I'm going to actually. Get him in an hour from now. I'm going to go talk to him during BP. So
good.
Is Saucer going tonight?
What's that?
Is it Saucer? Matt Saucer going?
They have not announced who's going to be throwing for UCF.
Yeah, he's got a .64 ERA on the season.
But it is vaguely going for.
He hit Miami for 6 innings or so.
I believe that he will be the one that is making that start. He did make the trip up here, so I believe that
maybe it won't be a big offensive thing.
It could be another great matchup. And Vagley has been pitching better his last 2 starts. So I mean,
Vagley's man.
So I'm excited for it. Talk to me about Bird Ball. They lose this game at home against Virginia Tech. Great performance by Virginia Tech to come out. but Boston College ties this thing up in the ninth when I thought it was dead to rights, game over. I thought Vautech had this thing locked up. They go into extras, and then Virginia Tech scores in really good fashion, good hitting. They outperformed BC across all the metrics that I could see yesterday. And watching the game live, I had it up on my iPad while I'm sitting there live watching. Very impressed by Virginia Tech to go a must-win game. It kind of felt like at this point in the season.
What's wild is Virginia Tech 7-9 in the conference, but I have them, I think, 14th or 15th in my power rankings, because what they do is they have a tendency to go get dominated for 2 games and then salvage a series.
Yeah.
And to me, that's, you might be racking up a couple of wins there, but like, come on. So this is the first time I think I've seen them really, really be impressive. I mean, AJ Colarusso hadn't given up an earned run in 14.1, and they were able to get on him. I think he gave up more homers than he normally does. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like there may have been, BC might have had the winning run and then it was overturned. But I mean, props to BC for fighting back. But now they've really got to respond, because they got to win this series. They were all excited that they kept their ranking after losing the series at North Carolina. They swept the midweek in emphatic fashion, which is great. But now you've got, it's Virginia Tech, Northeastern, and UConn. Now, at least Northeastern and UConn in the midweek is at home, but I mean, those double midweeks are brutal. And it is nice, though, that BC finally has the pitching staff to deal with that, because that's where their strength is. We talk about bird ball in the offense, but the reason bird ball needs to be effective offensively is because the pitching staff's so strong, but they don't have, as many. The fact they scored 8 runs, or was it 9-8 yesterday?
Yeah, they lost 9-8.
They scored eight runs. That's pretty good. But Brett Renfro is I assume throwing for Virginia Tech today. He has not been that great. He had a really good start 2 weeks ago, and that's about it. So they should be able to get to him. Brady Miller is, I think, Boston College's best starter, and he's somebody who I am enamored with. Like, I think he could be a future ACC Pitcher of the Year type guy. He was throwing 86, 87 last year as a freshman and had like a 4 ERA, like as a starter in the ACC, despite that lack of velocity. His fastball is now 91, 92. So he's gone from being effective to being dominant at times. So that kind of jump in velocity will do that. So it's a lot of fun to watch him. I expect BC to bounce back. They typically don't lose the Fenway game. They did last year, despite, I think, a long start by, I can't remember who pitched, because AJ pitched a couple of years ago, not last year at the Fenway game. But they're going to need to bounce back, but they need to win this series, take care of business, and you can't, if you want to be one of the big dogs, you cannot drop a series at home to Virginia Tech.
No, you want to be a top 25, you want to be a host conversation team, like you have to win these kind of series. Yeah. They thought that they had won it last night on a walk-off error, but
which would have been bird ball.
The first baseman kept his foot on, and so then they went into extras. So it was really exciting. It was a lot of fun to watch, but tough loss there for Boston College. They got to find a way to bounce back and get the next 2 if they want to be in that conversation, top 25, where I think that they have the ability to be there. But an AJ Colarusso loss, that's tough for them, because he's been so good for them on Fridays and giving them the opportunity to win every single weekend series. So tough one there. Nebraska traveled to Oregon. Oregon wins this one 7-6, 3 home runs. Smith, Jaska, and Cooney all hit the home runs there for power. Dylan Carey shine, though, for Nebraska. Like, he was so good. He went 3 for 4 in that game with 3 RBIs and a home run. Like, they almost came back to win that game, and Oregon holds off. Jared, are we concerned about the bullpen now? Because it seems like the starting pitching for Oregon is so good, but the bullpen has been giving up runs late. They lost the game against Michigan. They just got dominated in the midweek. Like, that seems like the bullpen is really struggling currently.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is they just ran into a good Nebraska team, right? Like, that offense, you talk about Dylan Carey, Mac Moyer, like everybody
but
yeah. I just think everybody on that Nebraska offense is super talented. And I'm curious kind of how this series pans out, because Ty Horn pitched yesterday, and I would argue that he's probably not the best pitcher on this team, because you look at the rest of the Nebraska team, it's Carson Jassa, Cooper Katsky, and then like Gavin Blahovich. So they got 3 other guys who have been making starts, and all are posting ERAs under 4 or under 3. So I really think this Nebraska team has a chance to still kind of pull this series off. I mean, again, Oregon has a really good rotation. Colin Clark has been amazing for them as well. Will Sanford was great for them last night. So I think you're right. I think it'll be a battle of the bullpens, basically, to see who can kind of keep these lineups in check, because Oregon's lineup has been just as good as Nebraska's, if not better. So I just really love this Big Ten matchup. I think it's one of the most underrated matchups of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's one that there's so many other like top 15 matchups that we didn't even like throw this one in there, but this is a big matchup for Big Ten play. Nebraska had been 11-1 in conference. They really needed this one. Monty, LSU goes to Ole Miss and loses 3-6. If I were to tell you that Ole Miss only had one extra base hit, you not watching a ton of SEC ball, that would blow your mind, right? Especially them winning a game 6-3 with only one extra base hit.
I still can't get over LSU, man. I saw them in Jacksonville, and they didn't even get into third gear, and they dominated UCF. They dominated Notre Dame. They dominated Indiana, which I'm just like, okay, this is we'll learn more in SEC play, but I think they're good. And then SEC play started, and I don't know what's happened because, again, if assuming that they weren't even in third gear in Jacksonville, I would have assumed by the time SEC played, they were ramping up and would have dominated. But I don't know what to make of this LSU team, man. I thought the pitching was strong. I know it wasn't Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson level, but I thought those three guys, William Schmidt on Sundays, was going to be more than enough to handle, and then the offense, you shouldn't be having the slumps that they have because they don't chase. So like you should still be getting on base, especially at the college level when there's not a ton of strikes being thrown compared to the MLB level. So I don't know what to make of this LSU team, but obviously it's a team that, again, I just mentioned regular season Florida. It's a team that could end up being like a bubble team that gets in and then wins the national championship. So and that's where I go, man, we got to look at some of these resumes and not reward teams for a rough season because some of these SEC teams could get hot and win a national championship like Ole Miss did a couple years ago. But props to Ole Miss for grinding out that victory there. And, these are two teams that are, fighting in that spot in that, middle of the pack SEC. And it's a lot of fun to, kind of watch those two. And I still think LSU's must watch every week, regardless of where they are.
I loved Jay's post game interview, and he was just like, they were like, "So what's going on? What's the issue?" And he goes, "We got to play good baseball, and we got to get better. We're not playing good
we
baseball.
have to play better baseball."
Like, no.
That's an Anthony Rendon type response, by the way.
Yeah.
Like for like following the Nats years ago, that they would ask Anthony Rendon questions like that, and he would respond, "We just got to play. I've got to play better." And that was his entire response.
I mean, when you look at it, Cohen comes in and struggles where he's been pretty good for them out of the bullpen. And Kason Evans has a great start for them, and it goes to waste. And also you had an Ole Miss team that was doing sacrifice bunts in the 8th to win this game. Like, what are you talking about? This does not feel like SEC ball.
It's bird ball.
It's an epidemic. It's spreading.
It was wild. And I was just looking there. And then when I looked through the box scores again, I'm like, did they really only have one extra base hit? That's all they had. And it was enough to win, like the one solo home run. But wow, the big win there for Ole Miss at home. If they go get another one here, all of a sudden LSU is sitting at 7-8.
And that's what I'm talking about. And they're gonna get into the tournament anyway, and then they're gonna get hot, and I'm gonna have to go out and be like, they didn't deserve to be here. And the reason why I'm upset is because they have the talent to win it all.
Yeah, I said the same thing about that Ole Miss team that won the national championship too, though. I was on my hill saying that they should not have been in.
That Florida team 2 years ago that I think went 13-17 in SEC play, snuck in as a 3 seed, beat Clemson to get to Omaha. People were like, they deserve to be here because, and I'm like, no. The reason I'm upset is because they did not resume wise deserve to be here. Not that
they
were
one
not
game over 500.
If they weren't good enough to get here, I wouldn't be upset. The problem is that I know that some teams are able to turn it on, and the regular season resume has to matter.
It has to matter. And I think that we're going to see more of that this year. I think that 13 may be too low of a cutoff. We might have to see some.
It should be. It should be. At some point,
we see more of a mix. But who knows? Yeah. I mean, there's other teams in the mid majors that aren't stepping up like we were hoping to steal some of those bids, and we might have to give them 13-win teams.
Why not give Conference USA 3 bids?
I mean, the problem is that they're not winning enough games right now.
Liberty's got an RPI at 30. Let's go.
Speaking of teams that are struggling, Jared, Arizona State dropping one at home. Cole Carlin has been so good, and then last night just flat. And Utah goes in there and dominates. Utah's been good on Fridays. Don't get me wrong. This has been a very good Friday night team. But to go beat Cole Carlin at Arizona State, that was a tough loss for Arizona State. And the offense was flat. They didn't come out and do anything. That offense was dead. Arizona State needs to start finding some wins.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about ASU. They drop one game to Arizona. They almost dropped 2 to Arizona, which is even more concerning than this Utah loss because this Arizona team has been awful. Like you run into Utah's ace Colin and McNally, and it's just like, okay, you can take that loss, but like again, you expect Cole Carlin to kind of step up and be able to be that ace and go toe to toe with Colin, and he just wasn't able to do it. And we talk about how potent this Arizona State offense is, and the fact that they couldn't get to him and go toe to toe with the Utah lineup was kind of concerning as well. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this ASU team. That's their second straight loss. Now, if they pull the series off against Utah, I'm still like, okay, they got a shot. But if they lose this series to Utah, I mean, you're seeing them drop out of the top 25. You get a little bit concerned on like what their playoff chances might be.
Yeah, I mean, they were only sitting at 7-5 in conference before this.
Yeah,
that's a tough loss. They had to go out and kind of dominate some of these series in a row, where they had been, 2 of 3 in every single weekend series where they're winning these weekend series, but they're not dominating. And usually a Cole Carlin start gives you that opportunity, and they did not take advantage of it last night. So that's a tough one if you're an Arizona State fan, especially at home, to drop that one after the struggles last weekend at Arizona. Like, you thought that this was kind of that bounce back, get 3 and get right for Big 12. But now they're in a tough spot. I mean, they're way behind the West Virginias, the Kansases, the UCFs sitting atop the Big 12. They're really going to be battling just for a spot in that high seeding there for the Big 12 tournament. So I'm very concerned if I'm an Arizona State fan right now. Southern Miss 8, at Louisiana 1, Coastal 10, at Arkansas State 7. Monty, the Sun Belt is so mind-blowing and hard for my brain right now. Coastal comes back again when the offense has been not great all year, but somehow they find ways to win. Arkansas State was dominating that game for 7 innings, and Coastal comes back and finds a way to win that one. And Southern Miss finally gets the win that they needed to, where they come out, dominate, start to finish. Do you think that the Sun Belt is, I mean, I think it's a 2-bid league. Do you think that they are pushing for a third team? One of these other teams steps up, maybe?
I mean, it's definitely 2. I mean, Coastal and Southern Miss are pretty safe right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know who's stepping up for that third, because they're just eating each other alive. And every time you think you might have a third, they don't want to be a third. You know what I mean? Everyone.
Texas State. It's going to be Texas State.
Texas State. There you go.
But they lost last
9-4
night.
in conference.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just so confused by it. And big props, I guess, to Coastal continuing to find ways to win. That's what they've been doing. And if
stop doubting them, Mark.
I guess it's all on me. It's my fault.
It's all on me.
I think that it was also like the fact that hearing that Hayden Johnson may not come back at all this year now for Coastal was kind of like a tough thing for me, thinking that he had an opportunity to come back. That'd be a great second starter for them. And they may still get Cam Flukie back at some point. I just don't feel like this is a top 16 team. I almost feel like there's no Sun Belt team that should host. I don't feel like there's a Sun Belt team right now that's proven to me that they should host. I don't think Coastal should host. I don't think that Southern Miss should host at this point, even though their RPI says that they should be close. BC, hey, if they can go start winning some series for me.
I know.
I've been a proponent of BC bird ball. I've been pushing.
I know. I just figured I'd just be like, bird ball, it's coming.
Tennessee at Mississippi State, Jared. Huge win for them. Henry Ford home run, Levi Clark home run. Mississippi State now has lost 4 straight at home. Did we start panicking for them? They're 7-6 in conference.
It's like
Henry kind of a former team.
What's that?
Henry against his former coach messed up. Man.
Yeah.
After all Oak did for him.
To me, it's almost like a "Hey, welcome to the SEC" kind of moment for Brian O'Connor, right? Like this is you're kind of
team, but you can lose 4 straight.
You can lose. Well, yeah. But what I'm saying is it's like okay, you can be red hot, and then all of a sudden you can lose 4 straight, and are you hitting the panic button or not? Right.
That happens in the ACC.
Yeah, I'm just saying. For the
come on, where's Tyler to be like the ACC is better?
But yeah, I mean, it's like they have Tennessee, they have LSU, and they have South Carolina for the next 3 series. Like you gotta win all 3 almost if you want to have a shot to be to be a host. So, the first one sucks to lose, but I think they have the rotation to kind of bounce back and win this series against Tennessee. We've talked about the Tennessee pitching struggles, even though they've had the good team ERA. Like it just seems like they can never close out games from the bullpen side. And then the Tennessee offense has just been non-existent all year, right? Like Levi Clark's been struggling, but he's starting to turn it on, which has been huge for this team. So if Tennessee is turning a corner offensively, okay, you're kind of a little bit concerned for Mississippi State. But I think this Mississippi State we talked about is still a top 5, top 10 team in the nation. I just think they have to show it, right? They have to win this series. They have to go to go to the LSU series and the South Carolina series and take those single-handedly to continue to showcase that. If they kind of run into some bumps in the road, then you're going to be like, okay, what is this Mississippi State team?
Hats off to Tennessee, though, with their back against the wall. And Cam Appenzeller coming in there and throwing 5 innings.
Really disgusting. Freshman of the year, maybe.
Yeah. He's putting himself in that conversation. I mean, but you got to start winning some of these. Like Monty was saying, at some point, the regular season has to matter. 7-6 now if you're Mississippi State in conference play. They got to go out there and find some wins. Like
they'll be fine. Oak always finds a way to get
he does. He does 100%.
Wait a second.
We kept saying that last year, though, Monty.
I know
and
they should have been in. They should have been in. They won 16 games in the ACC.
I agree. I was on that bus, but
I got yelled at. That was my last interaction with O'Connor, is asking about the resume and if they've done enough. And I got yelled. I guess maybe not yelled at, but yelled to by Brian O'Connor at 3 a.m. at the ACC tournament.
Speaking of ACC, talk to me about that Virginia win at Notre Dame, 4 runs in the 9th, and I know that there was some clarification where I was saying I was meaning the power numbers. I wanted to see the power numbers come back. Well, the 2 home runs was huge.
This was a props, Didewick's resurgence. Big props to Didewick and obviously Eric Tyler, the hitting coach, who I think is one of the best in the nation. I don't think there's enough talk about that, about what he's done, both at Duke and now at Virginia. But Harrison Didewick last year, we know the issues he had. Mm-hmm. And it was all about getting him back to himself and not trying to do too much. And he's not swinging for the fences every time, but he's been a more complete hitter. And it's just been a really refreshing thing to see from Harrison Didewick, who we thought would be gone after his sophomore year. Instead, we've gotten 2 bonus years, which unfortunately for him, but benefit to seeing him at UVA for 4 full seasons because he loves that program. But it's been great to see that kind of resurgence, but to see the multi-home run Harrison Didewick is really good to see, because
put a smile on my face.
Yeah. By the way, they're trying to rebrand him as Harry instead of Diddy, but it's not working out too well because of the because when you say Diddy, people go, what, if you're not familiar with UVA? But the problem is that you've been calling him that for 3 years. It's hard to kind of rebrand. So but if you notice, the social media accounts will say Harry or Didewick. They never say Diddy anymore. But last night in Pollard's post game, he did say Diddy. So, but no, it was great for them. Big for the bullpen. I mean, Lucas Hartman came out there for his 20th appearance in 35 games. He is the Charlie Bielenson role and is set to, I imagine, shatter UVA's appearance record. Again, like, even I was texting the SID, and the SID was like, man, I didn't think we'd see him again. I was like, he just pitched on Tuesday. But that doesn't matter. He is a blue collar worker and rubber armed. But they got the job done. Notre Dame bullpen, they moved Ty Uber back into the bullpen, didn't help. They're just spiraling, and it's a tournament caliber team, but
they're not finding wins. They're
spiraling, and there are times where you can start 6-3 in ACC play, but then all of a sudden you lose 4 games and you're hitting the panic button. No, I mean, they lost more than 4 and they're hitting the panic button. I believe it's 7 straight now for Notre Dame and then they lost to Michigan State in the midweek. So completely spiraling, and I just don't know how they're going to pull out of this tailspin, because they've got to figure out how to fix the bullpen in the middle of ACC play, which I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily the offense. And guys like Bino Waters have been great. Like, the's still some.
They are missing Davis Johnson, who got hurt again last week. He really lengthens that lineup, but yeah. Oh, yeah. You all right there, Jared?
Yeah, I'm good.
The sigh just came over the.
That was a very telling sigh.
I'm trying to respond to an email at the same time.
Okay.
That sigh was the thoughts of Kentucky going to Auburn and losing that game 5-12. What a tough look for Kentucky this last few weeks. They have been in the arms. Jelkin were like, okay, this is the guy. Like, this is their ace now. We're going to roll with him. 2 innings, 8 runs, 3 of those earned. They had some errors. They had some big mistakes in the field. I do want to point out, though, Eddie Madrigal back for Auburn and playing first base now. 3 for 4 last night. 3 every, like, big game for him. Auburn feels like they've got their swagger back offensively. Getting a guy like an Eddie Madrigal back in that lineup is going to be huge for them. And Alvarez goes out there and dominates on Friday, which was a big step for them also. So, like, is this more about Auburn actually being a top 10 team, or is this like Kentucky maybe is not a top 25, maybe not a top 35 team?
I think it's more, well, I don't know. I think it's more like right now, Kentucky's not a top 25 team. Jelkin goes 2 innings and gives up 8 runs, and only 3 of them were earned. There are 4 errors by Kentucky. That's not going to win you ball games. But I think the big thing that's really stuck out to me for Auburn is kind of the emergence of Andres Alvarez, right? He was throwing on Tuesdays and absolutely dominating. He goes 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 5 Ks in this one. And he's got an ERA, like I think less than 1, or was just right under 2. Yeah. He's been absolutely dominant for this team. And so you added that arm to your stable now on a weekend rotation, and then that's looking pretty good for you. And like they've had Chris Rembert back for a while now. He's been playing well. Chase Fralick's been good. Bristol Carter's been great at the top of that lineup. I do think Auburn is definitely a top 25 team. And I don't know if they're a top 10 team, but I know they're definitely a top 15 team in my eyes. So I want to see a little bit more consistency from the offense for me to kind of buy in fully on them. But I really like this Auburn team a lot.
I've bought into the pitching staff now. If the offense can keep doing this kind of thing, I think adding Eddie Madrigal to that lineup really gives them that next pop guy and gives them an opportunity to be really, really good. I think that's a dangerous team with the pitching that they already have. So speaking of some pop last night from Clemson, finally, like what they've been looking for all season, they finally get 3 home runs in that one. Savoy, Crichton, and Moore all hit home runs there. They beat UNC at home 9-5 in a must-win ACC series. There's not a lot this early. Clemson is in a must-win at this point in the season, right?
Yeah, Clemson's on the outside looking in of the tournament picture as it stands right now.
Yeah.
And they've looked bad. But that West Coast road trip might have been exactly what they needed to kind of right the ship. Now they are facing injuries. They're having to play 2 freshmen full with Jason Fultz and I'm Jackson Moore. There we go. I was like, who's the outfielder
last night?
Yeah, he had a home run. Jack Crichton, by the way, I mean, is he a home run hitter now? Because that's that's 2 weekends in a row. He had 1 home run in 3 years, and as a pretty regular contributor over those 3 years. And last 2 weekends he's got 2. So they are 3-0 in games that Jack Crichton homers, by the way. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, huge for Clemson. UNC, maybe they're looking ahead to that Georgia Tech series. I wouldn't think so because Clemson's still a big draw, big name, even if they're not playing well. So I don't think that's the thing. I think it's just a rough day for Dick Harrow. It's going to be interesting to see they bounce back. Ryan Lynch, they still got Caden Glauber and Walker McDuffie ready to roll if they need them. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Michael Sharman also looked really good last week, despite Clemson losing that game. He pitched 7. It was either 7 shutout or 7-1 run. So if he continues to pitch well, Clemson's got a shot to win the series today.
Yeah, and UNC did the same thing last weekend, though, right? They went and played Boston College, and they ended up taking the series on the next 2 days. Like, and I will say for North Carolina, Jake Schaffner has been really good at shortstop for them and doing the right things, and he's been on fire. I think that they need more consistency from the rest of the offense, but Schaffner has been that dude at shortstop for them. Arkansas goes to Alabama and wins that game 7-5. Jared, they scored 4 runs in the 8th, and it's from error. Justin LeBron, your superstar, makes a huge costly error that gives all 4 runs to Arkansas. Yes, there was a 2-run home run, but it was after the error that they should have got out of the inning. Alabama almost comes back and wins this thing in the 9th against Arkansas. But a huge road win for Arkansas for a team that we're like, I don't know anything about this team. I can't understand them. They strike out more than any team in the SEC, and yet they're still sitting there the chance to be a host somehow.
Monty, you see me shake my head. It's because I'm like ready to throw my top 25 into the shredder each week. That's why I keep shaking my head. Because we just bumped Alabama up to top 10, I think, last week, and then they go and lose to Arkansas. And then Arkansas is a team we had top 10, and we bumped them all the way down to the end of the top 25 because they kept losing series. So that's why I keep shaking my head about them in Mississippi State. And
I don't know what to do.
No. Brady Neal hits that home run for Alabama. They take the lead. And I'm like, okay, this is what they needed. That's it. They're going to hold on to this thing. And then they blow it. And I'm like, I want to rip my hair out.
And Alabama almost came back and won that game in the 9th, too.
Yeah.
They had a couple errors by Arkansas. Next thing you know, they had something going. And then they go 1, 2, 3 right after that. They get 2 runners on. You're like, okay, they got a chance to tie this. Nope. But I mean, we talked about this with Alabama. Like the big breakout for them has been the rotation, right? Tyler Fay was fantastic again. Went 6 innings, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts for them.
So
and this is 2 back-to-back starts after throwing the complete game no-hitter. That he's been just dominant for them. And so you have him and Zane Adams and Miles Upchurch are really kind of showcasing what they can do for this pitching staff. And the lineup has been really, really good for them. Brady Neal has been awesome. We talk about LSU struggles, another LSU transfer that's now really capitalizing on getting playing time and consistent playing time. He's been awesome for him. Bryce Fowler has been good. Justin LeBron's been struggling in SEC play. He hasn't been able to handle SEC pitching this year. And like you mentioned, the struggles on defense has really been hurting them as well. So you need more from your team leader there a little bit on both sides of the ball in order to kind of continue this streak that they've been on. But other guys have been stepping up. Like Eric Hines hit a ball like 700 feet yesterday. It was absolutely nuts. It was like 425, 110 EV. It looked like he just hit it 700 feet because it went right over the scoreboard. Yeah. It's just like this team – I think they're a top 25 team. I think they're a top 15 team. I don't know, again, top 10. Like if they can take this series from Arkansas, they're going to continue to stay in the top 10. But I still am not down on Alabama. I think they were in this game the entire time. They weren't getting their doors blown off. Like I do think Alabama is still really good.
And they were the better team the whole game, honestly. They looked like the better team the whole game.
Yeah.
And that's what it came down to. Monty, I know you got to bounce out on us. Any final words before you head out to the Georgia Tech Florida State final?
If anyone wants to tune in, I'll be doing Georgia Tech radio today. So that'll be fun. But other than that, I got nothing else. I'm just excited for another great day of baseball.
Buddy, thanks for joining us so much. Go enjoy some baseball. Absolutely. And we'll catch up soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
See you, Bonnie.
Let's talk about some more games here, Jared. UNCW goes and wins at Campbell. Huge win there. Baylor on the road at Cincinnati. Cincinnati dominates. Is this the Cincinnati team that we're going to get the rest of the season? Because if we are, this is a top 25 team. If it's not, I don't know, because I think I get so high on this Cincinnati team, and then they go out and lay some sneakers for me and make me not think that like I'm just going crazy on this team.
This Cincinnati team, it's like they're 23-13 overall. They're 21st in RPI. They've got some big wins this year. They took down Auburn, I think, at one point during the season. They're 6-8 in quad 1, 8-3 in quad 2. I like this Cincinnati team, but the question marks are on the mound, right? We know this team can mash. And it's like, how consistent can your pitching staff be through the rest of Big 12 play? And right now, I don't think they're at the top of the Big 12 standings, right? They're kind of in the middle of the pack. So you're going to have to really, really win out here through the rest of the Big 12 season to have a shot. I mean, I think they could be a bubble team for sure, and maybe sneak their way into the playoffs, depending on how they do in the Big 12 tourney and all those things. But I think they're 5-8 in Big 12 play. So they're going to need a way above 500 record in order to kind of get themselves into the tourney.
If it was today, I'd probably put them bubble in because of the RPI, but it's like real close. And it's because if they don't have those Big 12 wins, but if they go get some Big 12 wins and start playing better in conference, all of a sudden it's a whole different conversation, because with the 21 RPI and the winning record and what you're going to get from Jordan Bischel in the postseason, like you want to believe that, but they need more consistent pitching. They need to go win. They need to dominate the rest of this weekend series against Baylor to put themselves in that conversation.
Yeah.
Speaking of a team that needed to win, TCU at home last night, losing 3-4 to Arizona. Like I know that Arizona's resurging a little bit, but this is still not a tournament team in Arizona, and you want to be something special for TCU, and you are not pulling the trigger. Losing at home 4-3 is not acceptable at this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, they're 7-6 in conference play. It's just kind of been a disappointing season overall from TCU. This is a team we had, I think, top 10 preseason that expectations were through the roof. You look at the offense that they were returning with Sawyer Strasnider, Chase Brunson, Noah Franco, all these guys. And then on the mound, too, it's like you don't have Tommy Lepore, which is the biggest issue, right? You lose your Friday night ace, and that's awful, but you have a team ERA of 6.23, right? So it wasn't just Tommy Lepore that's the concern, right? Mason Brassfield's been really struggling, kind of trying to take over that Friday night role. He's got an over 8 ERA this year. Tommy Sagowski's been great out of the bullpen for them, 1.77 ERA. But Lance Davis, also in that rotation, has been struggling. He's got over a 6 ERA, right? So you're not getting anything really from your starting staff. Your team's hitting 271 as a team when you're supposed to have one of the best offenses in college baseball.
Yeah, they're not hitting. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's just frustrating to kind of see. And like Nola Franco's had his flashes as a freshman, but he's still a freshman and he's running
Lucas
into
Franco
the road bumps as any freshman would hit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's just like as a team and as a collective, they're probably frustrated too. I bet you that locker room is not happy with how they're performing this year because the expectations were so high this year.
And they haven't been good at home, which is something that they've historically been so good at home that they make it really tough to play there. And they have not been good at home. They've been losing series at home. They've been losing games at home. Like this TCU team needs to find themselves. And they need to do it quick because they are running out of time right now. At this point, they have no chance really of winning the Big 12 regular season because of those series losses that they have the teams that are above them already. And they have some really tough series coming up. They still have to play Kansas. Like there's some really tough series in there that are going to test this team. They need to go out there and they need to dominate these games against an Arizona who's been struggling so bad, barely into double-digit wins, and you go out there and lose this game at home. Not good for them. A team we talked about a lot, ECU, how hot they had been. They go to Tulane. Tulane shuts them down. Huge win for Tulane there, the 4-win victory. We love to see that one there in the big American Conference. We love all those teams. Iowa goes to USC. USC dominates 9-2 again. Great start there from Edwards. Like that's kind of what we need to see, that domination again on Friday nights. Oregon State gets in a weird rain delay / lightning delay, and they extend that game. So Dax Whitney comes out early. He got beat up early in that game, and I guess he probably wasn't feeling great. I think there was some flu-like symptoms he was trying to pitch through. Gave up 2 runs early in that, but the freshman Trey Morris comes in and shuts down that Cal Poly team. Easton Talt and Bryce Hubbard both go yard for that for Oregon State. Huge win. Let's talk about UCLA. I know we're running low on time. UCLA goes 14 innings, 30 strikeouts, 18 from Logan Redeman. There was some pitching performances this weekend in the strikeout department.
I mean, it was Redeman giving you 18 Ks over 8 innings, absolute dominance. It's like the first time you've seen UCLA get challenged, right, in this Big Ten conference play. Like Rutgers, you got to give them credit, right? They were able to extend this game to 14 innings. Rutgers had 15 strikeouts in 14 innings themselves. So, like, you have to really give props to this Rutgers team. I think it's super impressive that they were able to kind of hang in with UCLA this long. The fact that their pitching staff were able to hold them to 1 run, like this potent offense, and they had 4 different guys that went 3 innings apiece. Yeah, it was Zach Konstantinowski. I'm terrible with names. Joe Mazza, Andrew Rodini, and Jordan Savinone all went 3 innings, and only one of them gave up a run. So it's super impressive. Like, you have to be happy if you're Rutgers, like, with this performance. And again, Rutgers is 17 and 16 in Big Ten play. They're 5-8, but I think you can hang your hat and be not happy that you didn't get the win, but like happy with how your team performed and kind of stuck with UCLA the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they battled, and that's what you kind of want to see from these teams is how much can they battle? How much can they battle? Late night, also, Hawaii did beat UC Irvine 14-6. Good to see that offense for Hawaii getting going. But there's just so much that was going on yesterday that it was pretty insane. There was so much weather across the country that really caused a lot of delays and some issues there. I'm trying to get to the Texas State. Texas State did end up winning that game against Troy 5-8, where that game was delayed a long time too. So huge win for Texas State. Troy's still question marks here. Any final thoughts as we head into the weekend, buddy? Like who looked good for you and who looked like they probably need to go out and get a win today?
A&M looked good. I think this is a team that we've kind of been questioning because of the pitching staff. Pitching staff wasn't fantastic, but also the lineup was just, they went toe-to-toe with Texas's pitching staff. Like, you have Ruger Riojas
getting at the top of that lineup is rad. Like, that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. Riojas has been one of the best pitchers in college baseball this year. And Texas A&M was able to get to him for a 5 spot. So, and this is like I feel like it's a must-win series for Texas A&M only because Schloss is returning, and like you kind of want to be like, hey, look at what you missed out on. That's the only reason I think it's a must-win. I don't think it's a must-win for them for like postseason bids or anything like that. But I do believe, like, we were kind of questioning what A&M was kind of early on in the season as they were trying to find their footing. They had no Chris Hakopian because of injury, but like Grahovic's been amazing. Hakopian, since he's returned, has been amazing. He's been one of the best hitters in college baseball. Caden Sorrell's been awesome. Nico Partita has been like freshman of the year. Yeah. So I think this is the team that's been really impressive to me. In terms of a team that has not looked good, I'm probably going to stick with Mississippi State here, right?
Yeah,
You lose four straight
straight.
SEC games. You got to find a way to turn it around. You got to win these next two against Tennessee. Again, I don't think my panic button is like getting hit yet, but you're starting to be like, okay, if they get swept by Tennessee or they lose a series to Tennessee, we might be getting close to hitting that panic button. So at least they have two series like LSU and South Carolina that they can try to turn things around. But we've seen LSU can come out and swing and all of a sudden take a couple wins from you.
Yeah, it feels like since McPherson's gone down that this Mississippi State team has kind of taken a step back. Now they need to get right. They have the right talent. They have the amount of team that they can do this thing. The team that looked good for me is Tennessee. I'm going to say it. Like, you go and beat Mississippi State at Mississippi State after they come off of a 3-game sweep. That was not predicted by anybody. None of the experts had Tennessee going in there and winning. Landon Mack, terrific start. Like, I know he only went 4, but he battled his butt off to get them to that position. And then Cam Eppenzeller, freshman out of the bullpen, going 5 innings, and they didn't even look to bring in anybody else, even when he was struggling there late, giving up the solo home run. Like, they're like, no, we're rolling with this young man. He's going to go out there and finish his game off for us. So huge there for him. The team that didn't look good for me is LSU, going down to Ole Miss and doing nothing offensively, nothing. And you get a good start from Case and Evans. Like, you're like, okay, that's what we need. That's how we can win. And then, Zach Cohn comes out of the bullpen, not sharp enough, like not good enough. Ole Miss plays small ball on him in the 8th and wins that game. But LSU needs to start winning some series, and they're not looking like the part. Like, they've won a couple series, but it hasn't been pretty. That offense is just kind of dead. Like, there's no life to that offense right now. You look through the lineup, and there are different guys in every single day. The only person that's been consistent is Brown. I'm going to give him, Jake Brown, all the credit in the world.
Yep.
He has been consistent for them the whole season. He's gone out there and he's done everything that this coaching staff and anybody in the country has asked him to do. The rest of that lineup is really letting them down. And the pitching staff has been all over the board too. You get some good weekends from guys. You get some bad starts. You get some tough bullpen pieces. LSU is the team that set me down. What game are you most looking forward to today before we turn this over to the crowd to go watch some games?
Oh, man. I think Kansas UCF game.
Let's
I know
go.
you're there, but like this series just – it was so much fun to watch that game yesterday, even though I'm like kind of rooting for UCF because I picked them in the pick'em. No offense, Kansas. I like Kansas baseball, so it's not that I'm rooting against Kansas.
I did pick Kansas, so
yeah, I know.
Sorry you're picking against me again, Jared.
But I think that one is the one I'm looking forward to most. And then I'd say probably Arkansas, Alabama. I want to see how Alabama responds to kind of getting take a first loss, Friday night loss taken from them after they've been so hot. So those are the two I'm probably looking forward to most.
I am so excited for today's game for Kansas UCF. I mean, last night we had pitching performance. I went down in the crowd. I was so excited. I took the video with the crowd, the student section. Like, I came down out of the press box because it was electric in that ballpark. It was awesome. They were cranking it at the Hoagland last night. It was fun. I will say I want to see game 2 here of Texas A&M and Texas. I think Texas A&M has to take this one if they want the series because Volantis has been so good on Sundays. But I mean, this is a great series. I think that this is what college baseball is about. And those two teams, with the history, the coaching changes, everything that's been going on there, A&M struggles last year and Texas's rise to the top of the SEC. I think that this is an awesome series. I can't wait for more of that. I am very excited to see more of that baseball. So, and of course, Florida State and Georgia Tech, the finale. Can Florida State salvage a win? I think that that's a big thing for them. If they go get swept at Georgia Tech, it kind of really steps that tiering where you go, okay, Georgia Tech is a top 5 team. Georgia Tech is that top team in the ACC. It's not really close at that point. So I'm excited. Any final thoughts for the crowd out there, buddy?
No, I'm just excited for some more baseball. Like, this has been one of the most fun weekends, I think, of college baseball so far. Like the Texas A&M series, the Georgia Tech Florida State series, and then the UCF Kansas series, and then Nebraska Oregon. I feel like every conference has a major series happening this weekend that will play a ton of implications.
Yeah, and thanks to weather delays, we had baseball for like 19 hours yesterday. It was pretty rad to get to go watch college baseball all day. I know I was here not used to Central Time where I'm at right now, and I was like, oh man, I got to keep watching baseball till 2 a.m. What's happening here? But it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. So thanks, folks, for joining us. We'll be back live Monday night for the Top 25 show, and then again Wednesday for the preview show. So thanks so much. We'll see you guys again on Monday. Go enjoy some college baseball.